I'm like, oh, this doesn't work because, I tried it once and I talked to this person and
What if somebody said that about deodorant? This don't work. I don't need this no more. We all will be saying,
I think that's something that makes you go, But, we're making light of it, and it is funny to think about that because that is true.
Yeah. Nothing else in our life would we try just one thing and say, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
This episode on Positivity Playlist, Wisdom, Pearls, Decoded, Parenting, Adult Children, a deep dive into speakeasy, boundary, and bravery, and so much more. Keep it positive, keep it moving. What's good, family? I'm Virtue, artist, storyteller, and resident joy engineer.
And I'm Lady Mahlika, mother of 3, community spark plug, and curator of all things bright.
Speed check. What's your highlight of the week, Lady Mahlika?
Okay, let me see. I started a sunrise walk, and it's one neighbor strong.
One neighbor strong.
But it was a gorgeous sky, and my lungs feel brand new.
Yes. So I finished painting using only 4 colors: red, black, green, and gold, in observance of Juneteenth. And with 0 paint in my hair and none on my shoes, so I count that as progress.
Check.
So here's today's color-coded map for greatness. First, we're going to do Roots to Wings, guiding our children through Juneteenth with heart and history. Then we're moving into Pearls of Positivity with Toni Morrison's Freedom Mandate dissected. Then we'll talk about music empowerment, Beyonce's Freedom lyric lift up.
Yes.
And then we'll round it out with Common Ground, total mind wellness for the whole community.
Okay, so let's grab some water, snag a pen. Hydration plus inspiration equals glow.
All right, excellent. First stop, giving our children their wings. The color-rich story of Juneteenth begins right after this.
So welcome to Roots to Wings, where history hugs hope.
Excellent. And what we want to talk about today is that Juneteenth isn't just a date.
Yes.
It's a doorway. And how we open it to our children is so very important. So what I'm going to do right now is I have some notes here, so I'm going to touch my notes. I want to talk about Juneteenth because maybe some people know what it is, maybe some people don't.
Yes.
So first off, I'm going to pull information that I got from the Smithsonian's National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C. So we're going to start with January 1st, 1863. This is the date where the Emancipation Proclamation was signed by President Abraham Lincoln. And this declared that all persons held as slaves in the Confederate territories were to be free. Then we move forward to June 19th, 1865, where we had our first Juneteenth celebration. Now, this was nearly 2 years after President Lincoln emancipated enslaved Africans in America. And it actually took Union troops arriving at Galveston Bay, Texas, with the news of freedom. More than 250,000 African Americans embraced freedom by this executive decree in what became known as Juneteenth, or Freedom Day. With the principles of self-determination, citizenship, and democracy magnifying their hopes and dreams, those Texans held fast to the promise of true liberty for all. But wait, the story doesn't stop there. You know about those family reunions that we have?
Yes.
Well, the history behind our family reunions is that when people were freed through Juneteenth and the Emancipation Proclamation, with the end of slavery, people were searching for their family members.
Yeah.
And so as they were looking for those people who had been separated or sold away, with the focus of finding one another, the number of years did not deter them from looking for one another.
Yes.
But in fact, they actually put articles in newspapers, letters, word of mouth, all trying to find each other. And when they did, baby, it was a celebration.
Right.
And so that is actually the foundation of what we now know today with our bright t-shirts and our grilling as the family reunion. The time that we get together and celebrate being together once again. And it was in June 17, 2021, that we actually had President Joe Biden sign the Juneteenth National Independence Day into law. So now I got to do my math, y'all. Hold on. So the Emancipation Proclamation was signed by Abraham Lincoln in 1863.
Right.
The first Juneteenth, that was 2.5 years later, that there were some people who were actually freed from being enslaved who didn't even know they were freed. And it took troops to actually go for them to get that message. And that's what we celebrate as Juneteenth. So now, and it took till June 17, 2021 for it to become a national holiday. So let's see, 2021 minus 1865, and then we carry the 1, and then we subtract here, and now I have, it took 156 years for me. 156 years for Juneteenth to become a holiday from the original date of the first Juneteenth. So that information will actually be available for you in our link so that you too can do your math and research that. But when we think about how that's a doorway of how we educate our children, it's important to remember that this information is available to us.
Thank you for that information. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So I lean in on the 3 C's. Context, bite-sized history, picture books like Juneteenth for Maisie, and 2-minute documentaries over breakfast. And celebration, deck the dinner table in Juneteenth colors. Red hibiscus punch for resilience, black-eyed pea salad for legacy, green collard green wrapped tacos for growth, and a swirl of golden honey cornbread for the victorious, for the victories we savor. Contribution, invite each child to write 1 freedom action on a 4-color flag, red, black, green, and gold, and hang those flags as banners of becoming.
So that is an excellent way to take what could be viewed as a very heavy subject,
Yeah.
and turn it into a celebration. And I'm thinking about my niece who decorated her red flag, and on it she wrote, "Teach Grandma TikTok."
Okay.
And she has this nice little transition that she does where she started out in her pajamas,
Okay.
and then it transitioned, and then it came back, and next thing you know, she was fully dressed.
All right.
So that is her celebration, is to teach her grandma TikTok.
Okay. You know, freedom wears many outfits, so that's appropriate.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So speaking of freedom, when I breathe the word freedom, 4 flavors flood my lungs. First, there's red.
Okay.
That's sharp like hibiscus, hot like an iron, and red remembers. It's every receipt our ancestors stamped, paid in full with their courage. And they endured so much so that we could do what we're doing today. And for that, I breathe in. I breathe in that. The next color is black. This is the color of the cosmos after midnight in the country.
Okay.
Black says, dream in every direction. The sky is on your side. Black is imagination unpoliced. And then arrives green, the rustle of collard greens. I love collard greens.
Right.
Wait, and the hush of new folded bills.
Okay. Yes.
In your first savings account. You know, I remember being a little girl and my grandmother taking me to open my first bank account. And I think I might have been 10 years
Okay.
old. And she taught me that money was actually a tool.
Okay.
It was a tool. It wasn't something that ruled me. but it was a tool that I could use to rule my life.
Yes.
And I never forgot that. And then the final color that I'm going to breathe in is gold, but not the metal. I'm talking about the sunrise stripe that kicks the night off stage and says good morning. And that gold is the sound of our children laughing in our backyards, safe with our in the very places that our grandparents couldn't enter. Gold is the joy that we refuse to surrender.
Like that.
Yeah, those are the colors that I think of. So freedom to me is a breath that mixes pain, possibility, and progress. And I breathe in those 4 colors daily. To exhale ideas not once heard yet, and inhale the prayers of our ancestors already baked. Because freedom isn't a solo note, it's a chord. And I'm not a musician, but I love a good chord. And when we teach our children to hear all 4 of those colors, we tune them into the possibilities of their own agency. Their own agency. And I guess my last thought on this as I'm thinking about breathing in these colors of Juneteenth is I think about my grandmother who used her agency during the Great Migration to come from the South to the North, not knowing what, she didn't have a program.
Right.
She didn't have anybody waiting for her.
Right. No safety net.
No safety net. You know,
Children.
4 children, a pickup truck, and some trash bags.
Right.
And she came to the North because she knew that there was something that had to be better than what she was experiencing. And for that, I breathe in.
Yeah.
That strength.
That's scary, and that's bravery.
Yeah.
You know, not to know what's coming or what other danger, but knowing it was so much more danger where she was to protect her children.
Yeah, and I later learned, interesting enough, that she lived in a place before she moved that was probably about 2 hours drive away from where Emmett Till was murdered.
Yes.
And so I can only imagine what those times could have been like. Thinking about something like that happening so close to home, having 4 men child in her household and a daughter.
Yeah.
And she chose to use her agency to say, I'm going to the North.
Exactly.
And got here and found out it wasn't a whole lot better, but there was more opportunity than there was in the Jim Crow South.
So, family, hold your breath and feel the red, the black, green, and gold expand inside you. So let's try that. Let's breathe in. Hold. Imagine those colors. And then you exhale. Did you feel something?
I felt so.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Now let's shift those commands into choices. Say, what's your plan for the chaos corner? Watch ownership spark action.
And I want to do a role flip at this point if we could. Okay. Let's say that I'm a teenager.
Okay.
And I'm going to say to you, why should I, as a teenager in 2020, whatever we are in right now, care about something that happened way back in 1860, whenever that was?
Okay.
Juneteenth.
So let me think on this for a minute. You should care because freedom is unfinished business. And, you on the project team.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm a part of the team that brings that work forward.
Exactly. So let's do a family challenge.
Okay.
We want everyone out there to post your multicolored feast or freedom flag.
So that's black, green, gold,
red.
And red.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we want hashtag roots to wings. So I'm going to say that again. Post your multicolored feast or freedom flag and then to hashtag roots to wings. And we'll repost our favorites.
Okay. So up next, we have our next segment, which is polishing those pearls and commands to free us and somebody else. Stay tuned for Pearls of Positivity. This segment of the Positivity Playlist podcast is powered by Craig Consulting Group, a Cleveland-based boutique firm that has been championing entrepreneurs and community organizations for more than 3 decades. Founded and led by strategic business expert Samia Bray, Craig Consulting pairs big picture vision with roll up your sleeves execution. So your great idea doesn't just sound good, it actually grows. Whether you need a laser-focused startup roadmap, grant-ready business plans, or a scalable marketing strategy, Craig Consulting delivers customized guidance that meets you where you are and propels you where you want to go. Ready to level up? Schedule a free 30-minute discovery call today at 216-682-5349 and mention Positivity Playlist for an exclusive resource bundle designed to kickstart your next milestone. Craig Consulting Group, turning clarity into action and action into impact. Let's get back to the show. Welcome back, and now it is time to cue the sparkle. It's time to polish a pearl. Lady Mahlika?
Right. First one by Toni Morrison. The function of freedom is to free someone else.
10 words, 1 marching order. Let's unpack them lane by lane.
Freedom isn't a trophy.
Okay.
It's a toolkit.
Ah.
And my grandmother used to slide banned books into my backpack like secret seeds.
And you know, you have me thinking about my art teacher used to let me paint in the hallway.
Ooh.
Not just on paper. She handed me some space and said to me, claim it.
Okay.
And those words opened doors before I even touched the doorknob.
I like that. I think I would have liked that too.
Yeah. And so now when I think about locked doors today, right?
Yeah.
I think about wage gaps. I think about hurdles for voters.
Okay.
I think about healthcare and food deserts. And I recognize them and I make a conscious choice to pick those locks, to not let those things be the thing that stops me, but to say, let me get curious about that. And then make a decision to move forward in a direction of my choosing.
Yeah. And once the doorway is open, stand there holding it for the next soul.
Yeah.
And don't rush off on the Instagram. You know, don't Instagram the moment. Don't rush it. Stand there and just, take it all in.
That makes me think about a saying, well, I'll paraphrase it. It's a story. It's called Life in 4 Chapters.
Okay.
So it's like the first chapter, you walk down the street, you fall in the hole. Into chapter 1.
Okay.
Right? That happened. That barrier.
Yeah.
Then the next chapter is you walk down the street, you fall in the hole, but because you've fallen in that hole before and you gotten out of it, you kind of know what to do.
Okay.
So you sit there for a minute, you feel sorry for yourself, but you eventually get out.
Okay.
And that's end of chapter 2. And then there's chapter 3. Chapter 3 is you gotten smart now. So now you walking down the street, you see the hole, you walk around the hole.
Okay. I was waiting for that.
You was waiting for
If
that.
I fall in that hole one more time.
This is what I'm saying? I'm walking around the hole this time.
Okay. All right.
And you feel pretty good about yourself into chapter 3. But then there's chapter 4. And this is what we're talking about reminds me of. Chapter 4 says, why you keep going down the same street? Go down a different one. Don't worry about that hole. Or what somebody said to me is, if you do choose to go down that street again, how about this idea? Fill the hole in so that nobody else falls in it. How about that one?
I like that.
So,
yeah, okay. So we're going to fill the hole in.
We're going to fill the hole in.
You're going to look out for the
Well,
next
you're
one.
going to fill the hole in. Because I'm not doing somebody else's work. I didn't dig that hole. I'm not filling that hole in. But you fill a hole in. That's your mission.
You're supposed to look out for the next soul.
That is looking out for the next soul. I'm going down a different street. I'm going to say, look at here. Don't go down that street. There's a hole down that street. No, I'm going to say, don't go down that street. There's a hole down that street. Don't go down that street. Come over this way.
Okay.
Come over this way. So, of course, we have paraphrased that little parable, but y'all get the point.
Yeah.
Don't keep repeating the same mistakes. And there is no glory in hoping that somebody else falls into a hole that you've fallen into because it's somehow going to make them stronger, better, faster, wiser. There is enough life experience out of here for us to find a whole lot of new experiences. As a matter of fact, I say that to my adult children. You know, I say to them, I choose to let you know the wisdom that I have. Now, you choose to do what you choose to do with that wisdom, because it's enough other new things that you can find on your own. But it is important that when we do figure out something, that we let somebody know. We don't just sit back waiting for them to fall in the hole. Like, wait, they about to fall in the hole. Wait, here they come. No, we don't do that to other people.
No, we shouldn't.
We shouldn't.
We shouldn't. All right.
Yeah.
So, family, which room will you carry that toolkit into this week?
I'm going to do a free painting workshop for some teenagers that I know. And to me, painting, that equals a passport to self-expression.
Okay.
What about you?
I was thinking about launching an office freedom fund. So like coworkers can chip in for someone's first passport or voter ID.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like that. Yeah.
So we're going to go for the Pearl Challenge.
The Pearl Challenge.
Pew, pew, pew. All right, family. Name one door you'll open and post it with hashtag free forward.
Yes, free forward. One door that you're going to open for somebody else and yourself. So next up, family, get your water samples and Beyonce chanting freedom in living color. Grab your headphones. We'll see you on the other side of the break. Hey, Positivity Playlist family. Are you or a brand you love looking for a fresh, uplifting platform to shine on? Our listeners are parents, creatives, community builders, and go-getters who tune in every week for motivation, music, and real-life tools. By becoming an official Positivity Playlist sponsor, your message lands on the ears and hearts of an engaged, value-driven audience that's ready to support the companies and causes they support. We offer tiered packages and can include on-air shout-outs, social media features, and custom integrations that weave your story seamlessly into our show. Ready to amplify your impact and grow alongside our movement of good vibes? Email sponsor@positivityplaylist.com to grab your media kit and book a discovery chat. Join us, empower our community, and let's spread positivity together.
All right, family, we got music empowerment with Beyonce's Freedom. So volume up, music empowerment just landed.
Okay, so we are breaking chains, water is rushing, and going back to our history a little bit, Beyonce sampled a 1959 prison work song for this particular song, Freedom, and liberation starts on the downbeat.
All right, let's get into our lyric lift up lightning round.
Okay, let's do it.
Yes, let's unpack this song line by line. So line 1, I break chains all by myself. It's self-liberation first.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Because like they say on the plane, put the oxygen on yourself first before you go out here trying to save somebody else. And then the next one is there's no outside hero clause. So you got to own your own bolt cutters.
Yeah. And let's see. Line 2, I'm telling these tears to fall away. That's an emotional command. I like that because it's sort of like, you know, it's okay to cry and it doesn't make you weak.
No.
You know, sometimes you need to cry when you're angry.
You know, I like to say that's why the Creator gave us tear ducts so we could use them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I think about tears. And then the other thing is it's about coaching your feelings. I mean, we can't control the feelings that we have. You know, something
Yeah.
happens, you have a feeling, you have a reaction to that. Some people call it a trigger.
Mm-hmm.
You can't control that part, but what you can control is what happens next. You can decide, do I own that feeling?
Yes.
Do I act on that feeling?
Yes.
Do I hide that feeling? Because see, that's another thing that I've observed. You sometimes might do or say something, and the first thing you do is you look around and see if anybody else saw that you did it. And then after that, sometimes what can happen is we know how we would wish that we would show up.
Yeah.
But sometimes we don't show up that way. So then there's embarrassment and there's shame, and we want to hide behind that. But what this lyric is saying to me is telling those tears fall away, telling those feelings fall away, because guess what? Every day we're inundated by messages telling us you're not tall enough, you're not strong enough, you're not light enough, you're not dark enough, you're not pretty enough, you know, you're just not enough.
Right.
But yeah, you are enough. And with that in mind, we can tell those feelings fall away. So it's important, family, to remember that we want to coach those feelings. Again, we can't control the feelings sometimes that come, but we can decide what we will do with those feelings. And keeping that in mind, we don't want to cancel them. What we want to do is remember that tears can either water seeds or they can flood fields.
All right, let's get to the next line.
All right, I'm ready.
I need freedom too. And that's a collective plea. You know, but it's like, I need freedom too. I break chains all by myself. I let freedom rot in hell. Hey.
So to that I say even queens still petition freedom, because it's not a one and done. It's not a, oh, there's freedom and then it's over. Freedom, I believe, is a state of being. And it's not something that's external to us. It's something that's internal, and it's something that we choose every single day. Even though there's lots of people that want us to believe that we need to depend on them for our freedom, it's something that I believe we are in full control of. Just like, you know, grandmother who decided she wanted to be free from something that was insurmountable, which was the Jim Crow South.
Okay. She backed up. She made that choice for herself and her children.
Can you imagine leaving everything that you own, your house, your favorite, all that you have at your house, leaving all of that, getting in your vehicle, driving somewhere else, don't even know where you're going, because you just felt that strongly that you needed another pathway?
I would imagine the fear of what could happen was greater than the fear of what could be next.
And she definitely had to tell those feelings fall away.
Yes.
Fall away. And hers isn't the only story, because the Great Migration had so many people of African heritage who decided that they wanted to do something different, something better.
Yeah.
Something that they're choosing, using their agency.
I often think about that time, and I think about now, and I wonder how brave would we be, if we were challenged with those same things, and in our comfortable homes and our lives now. Would it be so easy for us to say, you know, I need to leave everything behind. Just drop everything. Let it go. Your bank accounts, your home, your car. Would people so easily do that?
So that makes me think about, when we talk about freedom from what? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying having nice things is a problem, because we all like nice things. However, I am saying, when you're confused, distracted, and broke because of all the things that you have to maintain, are you really free though?
Yeah.
Are you?
That's a good question. So maybe our audience can comment on that too. What do you think?
I think we should shout freedom. So I'm thinking about the next line where she actually shouts freedom 7 times as a symbol of new beginnings.
Yes. It's a sonic baptism. The water, the drum, and the battle cry.
And I think that's why that song really resonates with so many people. Like, I think about, like, sometimes you cover that song in your concerts,
Mhm.
and when that drum starts, that boom, 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 you know. Yeah. Yeah, it really speaks to, it wakes up, it awakens something that's there all the time.
It makes you feel powerful. At least it makes me feel powerful in that moment. And I really like that last line when it says, I'm gonna keep running because a winner doesn't quit on himself. That's my favorite part of that song to sing.
Yeah.
Well, say it again.
Say it again. Say it again. Say it 2 more times.
I'm gonna keep running
Mm-hmm.
because a winner don't quit on themselves.
Say it one more time. One more time.
I'm gonna keep running because a winner don't quit on themselves. So
that's right.
I like that. I like to end that because that's very, very powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So let's move on to what we're going to have as our viewer task for this week.
So, viewers, we want you to craft a 5-song liberation loop. And that's with tracks that raise your heartbeat and your hope.
That's right. I can think of a couple of songs already that do that for me. So I'm going to make sure to do mine. And then we're going to ask you to post yours at hashtag P as in Paul or power, PPP freedom. And we'll spin our favorites on social media.
All right. Freedom's bigger than any chorus, and peace of mind is a part of that freedom. After the break, Common Ground dives deep into mental wellness.
I like it.
This portion of the show is proudly sponsored by Lady Mahlika, singer and songwriter whose soulful voice turns every stage into a sanctuary. From jazz-kissed R&B ballads to feel-good funk anthems, Lady Mahlika's music is the soundtrack for people who crave authenticity and joy. Catch Lady Mahlika live, where she and her band serve up high-energy sets that leave audiences floating. Can't make it in person? Stream Lady Mahlika's latest album, Undercover, as well as original music, I Miss You and My Energy on all major platforms. Follow Lady Mahlika on all social platforms for behind-the-scenes rehearsals, wellness check-ins, and exclusive merch drops. Ready to elevate your event? Book Lady Mahlika for weddings, corporate galas, or community festivals at www.ladymahlika.com and mention Positivity Playlist for a discount off your booking fee. Lady Mahlika, where melody meets mindfulness. Now, back to the show.
Okay, family, welcome to Common Ground. In this episode, our flag is planted on mental wellness. So, Lady Mahlika, I grew up hearing, pray it away. Prayer is power, but therapy does not have to be treason. And we're going to talk about that.
Okay.
We're going to talk about it.
Well, I think I can relate a little bit because my first therapy session, and yes, I said it.
She
therapy
said it.
session. My therapy session. It felt like I was cheating on my faith, but now it's like my monthly tune-up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we won't get deep into that on this segment, but as we think about it, sometimes we're told things like I said earlier, just pray it away. And that's not something that we're going to say that we won't do, because prayer is definitely a tool in the toolkit.
Right.
However, I think what we're introducing here is that therapy can also be a tool in the toolkit that allows us to be able to fine-tune our journey. I'm thinking about those times specifically when there's something going on that is just more than what you can handle with the resources that you have. And I'm talking about the emotional and the mental resources that you have at that particular moment. And it's in those times where it's important to know that therapy can be a tool that can be activated for that time. I think the saying goes, sometimes people come into your life for a reason, sometimes a season, sometimes a lifetime.
Yeah.
Well, therapy can be any of those things, depending on what it is that you're walking through.
Some people feel like it's scary, and I guess it can be. Once you move past that, it can be so helpful and so needed. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. I think a lot of people feel ashamed to even say that they need some help or to talk to a stranger. But sometimes you need to talk to someone outside of whatever your situation is. It's better. And it's anonymous. And so that's another thing too to remember.
Yeah, and I can tell you from personal experience, there been a plenty of time when I've been at the store or walking in the park, and somebody will come up to me and say, "Hey, can I talk to you about something?" And I guess that's just a part of my gift, and I'll say, sure, go ahead. I'm thinking of a time specifically when I was in the store, and at this time I was trying to buy, I was so proud of myself, I was buying this special cord that I had located, and I was standing in line, and I had my little cord, I was so happy, and there was a woman in front of me, and then she turned to me and she said, can I ask you something? And she shared, you know, what was on her heart and her mind. And for her sake, you know, I won't go into the details, but I'll just say she shared what was on her heart and her mind. And, you know, I had no dog in that fight. And so I said, well, have you thought about, and then I shared what I shared. And to her, it was like a ray of sunshine. That's the kind of thing that can happen when you find the right therapist. And so when we think about therapy, we remember it's a sliding scale. It can be something like therapy for Black girls. Yeah. It can be inclusive therapists. It can be peer circles. It can be barbershop chats.
Yeah.
It can be sister brunch check-ins.
Yes.
It can be so many different things, but at the end of the day, it's about remembering that whatever it is that has you feeling overwhelmed or that you just can't is better outside of you than inside of you.
Yes. So some of the barriers can be cost and culture. And we delve into that a little bit when we talked about the shame and the stigma that goes along with it. And you should never be ashamed to seek out help. You should never be ashamed to talk about it and get it out. Those are things that I dealt with myself a little bit about, not so much talking about it, but finding the right therapist, I guess.
That's important.
That's the biggest thing, because every therapist isn't for everyone. And sometimes, you know, don't get frustrated because you have to go through something to talk to someone if that's the right person for you. Because I think that was my dilemma in the beginning in seeking help for myself. Was I'm like, oh, this doesn't work because, you know, I tried it once and I talked to this person. And
what if somebody said that about deodorant? It don't work. I don't need this no more. We all will be saying,
I think that's something that makes you go, But, you know, we're making light of it, and it is funny to think about that because that is true.
Yeah. Nothing else in our life would we try just one thing and say, no, I'm done.
Yeah. And I think I came to that realization because I had a discussion with my brother, and I was talking about like, yeah, I wanted therapy, but I didn't like this person, I didn't like this, and I didn't like the way this person looked at me. And then he was like, no, you need to find the right therapist. And I thought about it, and it took me some time before I actually decided to seek out that person. But I did. So just wanted to share that too, because that can be frustrating, but don't give up.
Don't give up.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm also thinking about other types of therapy. One is talking to someone else.
Yes.
But then there's also all kinds of things. I like to dance. And so for me, sometimes putting on just that right song and just letting my body move to that music.
Yeah.
It's therapy. I also like those adult coloring books. Yes, I said it out loud. Adult coloring books with all the patterns and everything in it, and finding that right pattern. And I have all my pencils and everything lined up, and I just find that quiet place, that quiet space, and I color. And there's something about that is very therapeutic for me. And then there's always the third one that I can think of right now, which is water. I love bodies of water. So if I can get next to a body of water,
She took mine, everybody.
and that water is like, sometimes when the wave go out, I let everything that's on my mind, that's worrying me, that's concerning me, go out. And when it come back in, I breathe in healing and wholeness. And then it go out and I let it some more go. And then when it come back, I breathe in some healing and wholeness. And then it go out again. And I just let that go until I am empty. And I find in that place,
Yeah.
it can also be very therapeutic.
I'm a water baby too, so I agree.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you talked about breathing.
Okay.
So my 5-minute trio is to breathe, to name 5 things I see, and to claim 1 win.
Okay. All right. And for me, another thing that I like to do is journal.
Yes.
I like to journal 3 lines, 1 for gratitude. So
Okay.
this, I am grateful for this. A worry dump. I am letting this go.
Okay.
And then a mantra. Something that can then inspire me. And I can do all of that in 4 minutes. It's a practice. It didn't start that way, because sometimes you're going, where's the mantra? I don't know. It take you a sec. But over time, that practice of journaling can also be very, very helpful.
All right. So let's talk about a second reset.
All right, I'm
All
ready.
right. So eyes soft or closed
All right.
in 4. So count.
We're going to breathe in for 4.
Hold for 2. And out for 6.
Ooh, let's do that again. That felt good.
Okay. Breathe in, 4.
We're breathing in for 4. Holding it for 2.
And out for 6.
Sometimes that right there can make the difference between something that can transform our entire lives. Just taking that moment to breathe.
Yes.
And think. Because something else that I thought about. Stress, fear, it reduces our ability to think.
Yes.
And then we will find ourselves doing some things and saying some things that in hindsight we wish we didn't.
Yes.
Right? And sometimes that little, what we just did there, wait, pause, bring it in for 4, hold it for 2, and let it out for 6.
And
Sometimes that can make the difference.
I've learned that. I've definitely learned that. And I actually have to physically do this sometimes, like, up,
Hold up.
like physically do my hand like this to stop myself when I want to say something or do something that might change things, not for the better. So sometimes I just stop myself like, oh, and I'm like, just breathe. And I say, oh, no.
No.
And I breathe, and then I can kind of reset myself again. So that's a funny little note, but it actually works, and it is very, very helpful.
Yeah. Another thing that I think about too is sometimes just removing yourself from the situation.
Yes.
And giving yourself that moment to breathe and to think.
Yes.
Can make a big difference. So I want to let our family know that another resource that we'd like you to put in your toolbox is dialing 988. What this does is it will connect you to the crisis lifeline, and it's just 3 digits away. So help is just 3 digits away. If you find yourself in a situation or circumstance where it is just so overwhelming, and in that moment you just need to reach out, 988 can be that lifeline to get you through that moment.
And there are some apps too.
Okay.
One is Insight Timer, and that is free meditation.
Okay.
And then there's Mood Fit, and that tracks your feels. Liberate, that's meditations by Voices of Color. So pick one practice, and like therapy call, breathe and break, journal line, and post it with hashtag mindful ground. Once again, hashtag mindful ground for therapy calls, breathe and break, journal line. So post on hashtag mindful ground and tag a friend so wellness ripples outward.
Like that commercial. And so on, and so on, and so on. Yes. So, Lady Mahlika, I think we've come to the end of our time together with the family today. What do you think?
I agree. And we have roots planted, pearls polished, Beyonce bumped, and yeah, boop, and minds refreshed in bold Juneteenth color.
Yes. And this week, just remember that we're posting our freedom flags at hashtag roots to wings. We want to remind you to do those door opening acts and then put those with hashtag free forward. Build those liberation loops with hashtag P as in power, PPP freedom, and then our wellness moves with hashtag mindful ground, because it's about helping one another, and that way we all become stronger. So post, tag us, and keep the chain reaction glowing. And until next time,
Yes.
keep it positive.
Keep it moving. Loving the positivity playlist vibes? Help us keep the inspiration rolling. Check the description box below for simple ways to donate. Every gift, big or small, powers more good energy episodes. Thanks for being part of the Uplift.